Hi, I'm Skotty Bechara, and I am the lead designer on Plushy Night. After a series of descopes and reductions and cuts in the project, our combat's design had been reduced to kind of hack and slashy gameplay. There wasn't really a whole lot of strategic depth into fighting the photoghosts anymore. There weren't really a lot of variation in the types of photoghosts you'd fight. The ways you deal with them was basically just how fast can I click the mouse button or how fast can I mash the A button to kill these photoghosts. That became kind of a big problem. Me and the project lead sat down to fix this with a method we called our toolbox method. We just wrote a list of all the systems that we'd had in the game, what systems we were still planning on getting into the game. If there were any low-scope ways to reuse assets and scripts that we had already written, we came up with some really interesting things, ways to improve the strategic depth of the gameplay. For example, we added a ranged version of our melee photoghosts using a attack script and C++ component that we were using for the companion character, Gemma. She shoots some magic projectiles, and we're like, oh, well, we could probably repurpose this to create a photoghost who is exclusively ranged attacking, and he's difficult to get in close with, and we can set up some strategic possibilities with that. We looked back at the prototype that we had written for Plushy Night Epic Shape Battle, and we realized that we had incidentally cut out a lot of the interaction that players could have with their companion characters. So we brainstormed a few new ways that we could use this magic missile component to create like a combo beam sword that Plushy Night and Gemma could use together. It ended up being really cool without introducing a whole lot of scope because we were basically reusing assets that we already had in cool and creative ways. Right now, one of my largest tasks is to basically compile a huge prioritized document going through each and every system in the game and making sure that we're pushing it up to the 100% level and individually breaking down every step of the process that we're going to need. For example, if we take the combat system, I'm going to first narrow in on the individual abilities that the players will have, the individual abilities that each enemy will have. So we'll take one enemy right now, the ranged photoghost. What functionality is the ranged photoghost still missing? Is there any of that? Then that will be the highest priority. One of my biggest challenges on Plushy Night is actually splitting my duties as a lead designer with some of my lower level duties as a scripter. Obviously, first and foremost, I'm the game's lead designer, but there are times that I've got to kind of get down into the weeds and script individual systems and get in the engine and place individual assets. It's really just a manpower and time thing that requires me to do that. Shifting gears between those two things can sometimes be problematic. When I'm the lead designer, I need to be focused on making sure the game is sticking to the vision that our project lead, Jeremiah Graves, is holding. I need to make sure that all the mechanical aspects of the game are supporting the art aspects of the game, and it's being supported properly by the programming aspects of the game. I need to make sure that the mechanics are especially weaving into the game's story as well as they can. But then, I have to get down into the weeds and start scripting individual systems. And once you're down in the weeds, it's sometimes hard to keep that higher level picture in view. When I was selected to be the lead designer on Plushy Night, I knew that I had to get a lot of my non-design skills up to snuff as well. I knew I'd be working outside of my comfort zone in a few different ways. I was a decent scripter when the Capstone project started, but I definitely wasn't the best at it. I think working in engine and spending a lot of time scripting has really improved my ability to work in engine with scripting. I've also had to help oversee the art direction. Kyle Martin is an incredibly talented artist, and he's a great leader. Part of being the lead designer means I have to work really closely with him on making sure that we're getting the visual feel that we want for the overall story and the game mechanics. I've also had to work very closely with our programming team because when we're scripting, we need to obviously interface very closely with the C++ layer, and they're kind of our conduit for that. I had to start understanding how the programming team worked. The most important thing I learned from this project is that everyone has the potential to be an amazing game designer. Plushy Night really is not in any way my baby or anything like that. So many incredible game design ideas and systems that you're seeing implemented in the game right now didn't even come from me. We sit down to have brainstorming meetings, and there are just good ideas coming from so many different places. Being a lead designer isn't about making the best game design. It's about filtering the best ideas into the project from wherever they came from. It was hard at first to kind of take a step back and look at the ideas that I wanted to have put into the game and the ideas that I was hearing coming from the rest of the team. It was hard for me to take a step back and look at that objectively and say, these ideas are actually much better than my ideas, and they actually suit the big picture much better than mine. Over time, I think I got quite good at that, and the game right now isn't so much the game that I had designed when I wrote the GDD back in December, it really is the result of months and months of communication and cooperation and brainstorming.